Like I flip on the TV to Miami versus Maryland yesterday, and Miami's uniforms, I've seen some different colors they've done, but it was pretty much the traditional. And I'm going, what the heck is Maryland wearing? It was this, I knew it's part of their state flag, but it's on the helmet, it's on the shoulder pads, it's on the arm, and then the shoes? What's up with the shoes?
What's up with these shoes?
I don't get it. And I turn on to show my wife, and she goes, well, it's a state flag. I'm like, but it's all over their uniform. I don't get it. And I don't understand.
Well, there's
in Georgia, I thought it was some kind of a throwback thing they were going to do once for gimmick the first game of the year, like Boise State. But you're telling me there's more to this.
Oh,
you don't mess with Georgia.
I think it's a really interesting story because it has to do with marketing. It has to do even with recruiting a little bit. And I've read a lot lately about Oregon's uniforms, which Oregon is kind of Nike University. Phil Knight, the chairman of
just right out of the
Nike,
check.
gives that and how they have kind of staked out this turf where they were able to grab attention and market themselves with their uniforms. And I'm going to read you an incredible quote here from a guy from Nike, from a story that I read. We wanted to be out there to be purposely controversial. That's part of what we do. A lot of sports writers at first hated it. At first? Hello. But that's actually what we wanted. Probably easier for Oregon to cut through the clutter of college football, undeniably known for something. The uniforms are the key ingredient in getting those bodies there, meaning getting recruits there, and the bodies are what win you football games. This is actually about marketing. It's about 18-year-old kids who have grown up with the idea that having a tattoo on your neck is cool and not makes you look like the victim of some sort of medical experiment going awry.
Circus act,
and it's
tattooed lady.
And we live in an attention economy where the things that people are selling to us in the marketplace are, with this flurry of information going by us, what catches your attention? This kind of stuff, as hideous as it's almost intentionally hideous. Maryland is an Under Armour school, not a Nike school. These two sporting goods companies are in competition with each other in a lot of subtle ways. In fact, to the extent, and I'm not endorsing this rumor, but there was a rumor last year that somebody from Nike talked about Cam Newton. Because Auburn is an Under Armour school. Now, I don't buy that, but that's the kind of thing that's going on here, where there's all this subtle marketing going on. Now, this guy from Nike says when we have a school has a traditional look that everybody associates with, like Alabama, like Oklahoma, like Penn State is an excellent illustration. USC, we don't mess with it. Okay. Georgia, to me, is the first exception to this. Schools that don't have a traditional look. Virginia Tech, Nike has made their uniforms beyond hideous. Boise State, same thing. But Georgia was wearing goofy uniforms on Saturday. That's the first school with a traditional look. So this is Nike creeping further and further and further. Nike is evil, folks. Let's be clear about this. Nike is evil. I personally have been boycotting Nike for 20 years. And I urge you, Americans, to do the same thing because this is an evil organization.